After I finished co-directing Finding Dory, I was looking for my next project, and I kept going back to the films that I most enjoyed watching and rewatching were the films of my youth. And a lot of those were sci-fi action films, and I wanted to make a sci-fi action film. But we work at a studio that makes these important films, and they're funny and touching, and they have to do all of these things. But I kept wondering, can we just make a sci-fi action film? And at the same time, I kept thinking about Buzz Lightyear and how that universe is something I'd always been connected to and always loved, and merged both the idea of making a sci-fi action film and a Buzz Lightyear film. It occurred to me, why don't we just make that movie, and wouldn't that be fun to do? I wanted for Lightyear to separate the Buzz character from Toy Story, and in general, the whole film, I wanted it to be kind of a separate thing. And part of that was finding a different voice actor for Buzz Lightyear, was finding the live action equivalent, if you will, or the more serious action hero. And so where Buzz in the Toy Story films is a side character and a comedic relief, that this Buzz was going to have to be the protagonist that was going to carry the whole film. And to do that, we needed a Buzz that was just a little different. So we tried just thinking about who would be a good action hero star that would also be humorous, but not so much so that it would be a detriment to the sense of peril that they might go through. And immediately Chris Evans came to mind, and what he brings to the role is what he brings to any role, is a sense of legitimacy and a sense of fun and a sense of gravitas, the balance of those things without seeming too goofy. He always feels very legitimate and very authentic, but also has an openness and a commanding thing, but also a sense of self-deprecating. You can imagine him having self-doubt. He can present this frailty that's necessary for a character that's going through change, but can also be a very credible action hero. I went to the Lucasfilm archives and walked through all of the props and the set remnants that they have, and the costumes and the matte paintings and the creatures that they have. Just the entire film history from Lucasfilm was graciously shared with us by the archivists there. And we studied how the models were built, because we know how they look on screen, but what does that look like in reality? How do you achieve that look? What types of techniques do the model makers do to achieve a tactile sci-fi look? So it's really the combination of these two research trips that are our movies. What's been done for film before to get that kind of chunky sci-fi look that we still want, and what's the reality? And our movie is somewhere in between those two. The two things that I really wanted aesthetically for the film was for it to be cinematic and for it to be chunky. And those means basically cinematic, meaning it looks cinematic. It has a filmic look to it. It has indelible images that are very clear and memorable. There are clear lighting choices that direct the viewer's eye to the protagonist or the relevant information in the screen. For me, the thing that makes things feel cinematic oftentimes is a lot of smoke. Just smoke up the set, which is not dangerous to our actors at all in CG, and then turn off all the lights and basically build these great sets and hide stuff to direct the viewer's eye. Now, chunk is the design aesthetic that allows for a sense of stylization to the building of the world, so that everything feels like it has a material thickness. When you make a model, it naturally has thickness in the real world. You make a model in the real world. In CG, you can make walls and thicknesses of props and sets thin as you want, thinner than a piece of paper. And as a result, it can make the world feel thin or fragile. And I wanted to really make an effort to have everything feel manufactured and show both the manufacturing details and also the defects to allow for a lived-in world that felt like you could reach out and touch it.